Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about before you list your home, posting photos, and welcoming viewers into your house. What we want out of this chapter is to understand what message our home needs to send, which is this is a clean and cared for home and it's worth your attention without having to blow your budget. So, selling your home is part strategy and part emotion. But before you list it, or host a viewing, or even take photos, you need to ensure that your home is maintained for, and it brings out that message that I said earlier that I am clean, I'm well maintained, I am worth your attention, I'm worth booking a viewing. You don't need to go over the top, you don't need to get designers and a designer budget or hire people from a showroom. You simply need to prepare wisely, and it begins with essential steps. So you need to clean like it's sold. Effort put in is the reward that you are going to get out. So clean your house properly. If there's fingerprints on the walls, wipe that off. Clean your windows. A clean home is a nice message of welcoming to a client that comes in. A clean home always feels brighter. It feels bigger, it feels more inviting. And that's just out of my own experience when it comes to clients. I see happier faces in cleaner homes. And when it comes to cleaning homes, polishing taps, you scrub the floors, like I said, wipe and clean the walls. If you have someone, or if you're a kind of person that often has laundry, just clear that laundry out of the way. Even shove it in the cupboard on the day or when you are taking photos. Your dishes mustn't be in the sink. And this unnecessary clutter that's on the tables. Clear it off, put it in the shelves, especially for when you're taking photos. Like I said, a clean home is it gives that feeling of larger, brighter, more valuable. So we want to declutter and depersonalize as well. So with depersonalizing, that means removing family photos, bold artwork, and very personal items. Especially when it comes to taking photos, try not to have too many family photos in the frame. If there is that, try and remove it. If your artwork is going to leave holes in the walls and you don't have the capacity to clear it up, then rather leave it on there. But the extra little ornaments that's all over the tables, try and remove those things. We want to create a neutral feeling. The neutral feeling is there so that buyers can imagine their own lives in your living space. Because you're not creating a hotel, you are creating a blank canvas. Don't give buyers a reason to talk your price down. When it comes to these small fixtures, DIY lists and doing small little things to fix up small problems helps a lot later. So fix a broken tap or leaking tap, those squeaky doors, those chipped tiles. The small problems rise and create red flags. Because what a buyer is going to do is look for these type of things to try and negotiate the price down. So a few hours of DIY could save you thousands of rands during negotiations. A home, and this is for me the biggest when it comes to viewings, especially. A home that smells fresh, that has an airy feel and is well lit, is instantly more attractive. It sets a mood. So what you need to do is you need to open up windows, let in that natural light, because that natural light is also going to show you where all the dust is laying. Then you can dust off. Use natural scents as well. Don't use anything too strong. Like air fresheners, avoid those. What you're going to try and do is try and get those humidifiers where you can put the drops of oil in to bring a nice smell into your house. If you can't afford that, get yourself a pot on the stove, get cinnamon sticks, get orange peels and boiling water, throw it in there and leave it to simmer. Throw some of that steaming water, put it in different rooms so the smell can absorb into the room. Because the moment you walk into a room where someone has sprayed air freshener, you can smell it. So we want to avoid that. Okay. So now, once we've cleaned up and we've set the stage for taking photos, Before I give you the photo angle tips, when it comes to cleaning as well, if your place is too cluttered, for example, you don't have the capacity now to get rid of most things, but you would like to take the photos. What I usually do with clients is clear up room by room, and when you're done with the room, you take photos of that room. Make sure that it's the same time of the day. If you don't have um, a full day to do this, because it would be best if you set aside a full day. You clean your house, but if there's extra things like desks and chairs that you can quickly move out to take a photo to make the room look nice, or certain baskets of laundry that's in the way, shoes that you can just take out and put back in once you've taken your photos already. Remember, we want a nice, clear, neutral room. The less items in that room, the better your photos are going to look. So, with photos, you don't need a professional photographer either. Your phone is fine. People just want to see what they are coming to go look at. They don't need a top billing kind of view. But nice photos also makes the difference between them coming for the viewing. I don't know if you've seen some Property 24 pictures where people just take, there's a kid running in the background, there's panties laying on the shower doors. In our sense, we want a unified, clean photography experience for our buyers. So, what you're going to do is ensure that when you take your photos, your angles are always the same. And a trick that I use if I use my cell phone and I don't have a tripod, because everybody has this ring lights and TikTok stands, that's also a good thing because it's a consistent stand. And when you move it around the house and you click through your viewings, it's like a horizontal view that you get with those photos, and it's pleasant to go through. Once the angles jump up and down, it plays a trick on the mind and it makes it overwhelming sometimes for a viewer, but a unified look makes the experience nice. So if you don't have a tripod stand, take a broomstick, make a marker so that when you take your photo, you put your photo next to the broom by that marker and you know where that stand is when you're taking it as well. So like I said, your phone is good enough, but if you can get a photographer and you have the money for it, then do it. But do the unified look. Take pictures in landscape mode as well. So not straight up with your camera, but to the side. And the reason for that is on Property 24, if you're going to decide to use platforms like that, the landscape mode is always best suited for those type of platforms. Shoot in the corner of the room where you see more view of the room. Use natural light and try and avoid those flashes on the phone. If you maybe have a ring light, that should be okay, but the heavy flashes that giving off reflections, try and avoid those. Clean your phone lens, please. Take a cloth and you wipe the lens of your phone if you are going to use that. And include all areas, your kitchen, your living room, all bedrooms, bathrooms, your garage, your garden. The more photos you have, the higher chance it is that people are going to come and look for viewings. Because if you're going to advertise, I've got a 3 bedroom house, but you've only posted one room, people are going to wonder why, and they're not going to be interested because there is a variety of choice out there. There's always a house on the market, unless it is a house or an area where this home sell very quick. You might still be lucky, but put yourself first in the list when it comes to people wanting to book viewings because they like what they see online. If you can, and this is if you can and would like to, do a short walkthrough video of your home. What this is going to do is create more trust with the buyer, especially with buyers that are in other provinces or even abroad. There are times where people from abroad are looking to buy a house or in other provinces looking to move down to wherever you are, if from Joburg to Cape Town or Cape Town to Durban, etc. So with this, it helps them decide better on whether to contact you because you've already done that walkthrough video. They don't need to ask you any questions. Also, rawness is loved by the public. You see these raw TikTok videos going viral, and there's no edits, there's no effects, there's no glitz and glams because people like honesty, people like truth. So, doing a video like this is a good bonus for your buyer. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but it is a nice bonus to have. So, this is a bit early in the chapter for this, but the reason I'm bringing it up is this could also be the time where you are going to try and get your COC certificates while you are doing your fixtures and things in the house and cleaning and prepping your house, because now you will identify certain problems that might arise. So, with this, there are two avenues that you can go down. You can start early. With starting early, the benefits of that is when you have viewers and you already have your COC certificates ready, that is trust that's been built with your buyer, because they know, okay, this house has no problems. The COC certificates are ready. The other benefit of this will be to know exactly what the issues are, because sometimes there are hidden problems with electricals, and if you are in Cape Town, you need a municipal clearance, which is now the water. Those things will help you identify the cost of what needs to be fixed earlier on. The problem with this, though, is if you decide, look, I'm not going to sell my house anymore, these COC certificates are only valid for 2 years, or valid up until any other fixture is done in your house. Then that falls away. So it's not necessary to get it up front, especially if you are testing the market. If people are testing the market to see, and when I mean by testing the market is people can list their houses to see what buyers are willing to pay. Then they remove, they wait a little bit more. It's like, no, it's not the right time for me now. I'm actually looking to make a profit. I don't have a reason to actually move or actually find another place. I just wanted to see how much I can get. People do that. But if you are eager to sell, but you don't have the money for these COC certificates, there are contractors out there that will help you with fixing up, and then you pay them with the proceeds of your sale. The problem with that, though, is if you get them to do this, you must pay them regardless of you selling the house or not, because they've given you a service. So it's always best to get the deferred payment after you find your buyer. So when your buyer, your OTP is signed, everything is sorted, and you're going to transfer your house now, that is when you get these companies to come in and help you if you don't have the bucket to fix. But I would always go with option number one because of the trust it builds with your buyer to get the sale done quicker, because you're going to have to wait for the COC certificates for any registration to happen. And depending on the fixtures, it could take long. If your house is maintained, you could just get the COC certificates without any fixtures needing to be done. What about renovations? Okay, please don't renovate. Don't go and do massive renovations on your home. Fix things, but don't renovate. Big renovations don't always return the income that you've put in. So you paid, for example, 200,000 Rand to do a kitchen renovation. A buyer comes, they got that kitchen, and you could have used that money that you did for a renovation on the home that you were going to buy. You don't know what these people want in this house. Sell your house as is, but make it neat. The only fixtures you are going to do, if there's cracks in the walls or something, okay, that's a bit of a different thing. If there's cracks in the walls, you make people aware of it. Don't hide these type of things. I am not an advocate for hiding flaws in your house, because you will end up in court and you will lose. Fix things properly. And if there are cracks, make people aware of it. Anyway, going a bit off the topic. When it comes to renovation, focus on fixtures, not remodeling. Keep things clean, functional, and neutral. Save your money. Look, buyers aren't looking for a perfect home, they're looking for something presentable to make their own. So, just to sum up, clean as if your home has been sold already. Be honest about your house. Create a neutral space to win over your buyers faster. You don't want something flashy and designed, because you don't know what people like. You are just there to ensure that they feel comfortable in your home. Have all the questions answered before the time. So when you, for example, you don't have your COC certificates ready yet, but you are aware that this may be a leaky tap, tell them you fixed this. These are the fixtures that I've done so far. Actually, don't actually want to tell them certain fixtures, but if there's fixtures that you couldn't fix, tell them about that. Make them aware. You don't need a Pinterest perfect home. You need a space that's tidy, welcoming, and warm, and that's cared for. You, in this module, I hope that you've learned that what we want to build with our buyer is trust, because trust leads to offers. So you're not just prepping your home, you're prepping the buyer to say yes. And that just takes you one step closer to selling your home.